A man under subjection cannot truly be a man. Throughout history, there have been freedom fighters from our people who have fought for our humanity and our ability to be men. Being under tribute to another person is unnatural and inhuman for a man. It is only natural for a man to desire to have power and authority over his environment. Those who have stuck their necks out for the liberation of our people are our brothers, and we love and respect them. Recently, there have been those of our people who have taken on this mantle through modern-day social media. They have significant followings and have put out many products and services to benefit our people and to push forward a message of empowerment. These individuals should be treated with the utmost respect because they have done the work to earn that respect. These are individuals who I still follow because these are knowledgeable brothers who have something to teach the people. We may disagree on certain things, but no one agrees with everything any one person says unless they have subscribed to a cult of personality and are incapable of thinking independently. What I want to do is speak to these brothers respectfully and reason with them as my brothers. Whether it's the Black Authority, Professor Black Truth, Tariq Nasheed, or Riza Islam, these are our beloved brothers. They are also Israelites, those loved by the Most High. These brothers have done great, impactful work for so-called black people, regardless of whether or not Hebrew Israelites agree with their set of beliefs. They have taken on the mantle of brothers like Malcolm, Dr. King, Fred Hampton, and Marcus Garvey. The discussion of reparations for American freedmen, the descendants of American slaves, has been pushed forward into political discussion because of the work of these men. Politicians and various political news outlets are even coming up with initiatives on reparations for our people. Unfortunately, these discussions and the entire movement has only amounted to talk. Certainly a discussion is where things start, but much of the action which has taken place has been symbolic. Our enemies know what we are asking for. We don't have to make it any more clear to them. There is no misunderstanding or confusion. They are simply coming up with ways to not do what we ask of them. As I've mentioned before, they cannot do what we ask of them because it would be socio-political suicide. They know who we are, and they know who they are, way better than even we do. They know what the Bible says regarding prophecy about us and them, and they know their era is coming to a close, and they will do whatever is necessary to keep it going as long as possible. Our enemies have no problem with us talking. We can say whatever we want. TBA and Professor Black Truth say many radical things against our enemies. I particularly enjoy Professor Black Truth's Friday Crime Reports, where he gives us a glimpse into the American justice system and how it aids and abets criminals and hate crimes. Still, this is just talk. This is not to say these brothers are talking heads. They have actually done tangible things to help our community. They produce documentaries, put up highly visible billboards in popular spots with our political messages, and have built venues to commemorate our history and our icons. They have talked the talk and have absolutely walked the walk. Nevertheless, why were Malcolm, Dr. King, Fred Hampton, and the like eventually murdered? They did their very speeches and gave very powerful messages, just like our modern-day brothers have done through social media. Eventually, the talk led to actions, and then a very significant and dire thing for our enemies happened. The balance of power in society began to shift. For our enemies, this is the state of emergency, the equivalent to the end of the world. Again, they know who they truly are, and they know who we truly are. They know this world belongs to us, and the natural order sees us as rulers of this planet. If you want to know why they spend trillions of dollars a year on defense, this is a major reason. True equality is death to our enemies, and legitimate reparations is asking our enemies to voluntarily give up the ghost. Thinking the people who hate you will unalive themselves for your benefit is a wild thought, but this is what we're asking for with the reparations movement. Much of this activity on reparations and anti-black hate crime bills will eventually come to see these good brothers meet the same fate as those brothers of the civil rights movement. As long as it just remains a lot of talking, complaints, and grievances, and actual power remains in the hands of our enemies, they'll let us make all the videos and documentaries and have all the rallies and speeches we want. The status quo will remain as is. When the status quo and balance of power begin to shift, people will be made to disappear. This is not a message to deter anyone, as if that were possible. If you're going to be a revolutionary, the first thing you have to get over is your fear of death. Death is not the end of life. Death is the life which was never lived. An abortion and a life without purpose or meaning have a lot in common. The appeal I'm making to my brothers is to die for something which will actually be accomplished. Fighting to the death for prosperity in a world which is ruled by our enemies and where we have been placed as punishment is not a fruitful pursuit. To fight for this world is to fight against the Most High. I would ask these well-meaning brothers to give their energy to the cause of preparing for an age where we will rule this entire planet. We're not meant to be equal with our enemies. We were meant to be over them. This doesn't mean we exercise rulership over them now, as we are still in our captivity and still under the curses. Our work is about preparation for the age to come. I'm not necessarily telling you to stop fighting for reparations, though I would insist such a pursuit cannot bear fruit, and would absolutely not tell you to stop fighting for justice for our people. Add obedience to Torah to your efforts. Along with protesting for justice, add a message of repentance and faith to follow the law of the Most High. The B1 community and the Hebrew Israelite community desire the same thing, which is liberation and justice for our people. Our methodology for getting there is different. I've discussed why all of our revolutionaries were murdered. The cause they fought for was noble and right, but ultimately did not address the actual reasons we are in the predicament we're in. It's not so much because of the evil of our enemies, though they are indeed evil. It's because of what we have done to each other and to our God. I would ask our noble brethren of the B1 Black Empowerment movement to examine our history as a people and look at Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Are we the people spoken of in this book we call the Bible? When the Most High speaks of a special people set apart for himself, is this not us? When Dr. Claude Anderson said we are an exceptional people, do the scriptures not confirm this? I fully understand those who would want nothing to do with the Bible. This book, which is our family history containing the law the Most High gave us and many stories of our people's triumphs and rulership, has been horrifically misappropriated and maliciously used against us through Christianity, a racist cult religion used by white supremacy to control us and weaken us mentally. Breaking away from the shackles of Christianity is one of the first things our people do in regaining their identity. I would advise our brothers, however, to not throw the baby out with the bathwater. That book your Christian pastor lied to you out of every Sunday and every Wednesday at Bible study is a very important and empowering book when not viewed through the lens of Christianity. Within the pages of that book is our identity, our legacy, and our heritage of a blessed and royal bloodline, one greater than all others. I humbly ask these men to consider these things. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We've been down this road so many times, it's become a valley. The end has always been one of our freedom fighters murdered in cold blood. What has come of it all? Have we truly made progress? What has changed from now to when we were on the plantations? You can buy a car. You can sleep with a white woman. You can travel. As our brothers have said on their programs, white supremacy controls all areas of activity around the world. White supremacy is global, and so is the plantation. The truth is, we never left. Massa just gave us more space and more toys. We still have no rights. We're still looked at as less than human. We still have no political representation. And it's still okay for us and our children to be harmed. We don't have to go down the list of fatalities by law enforcement, where without a tooth and nail fight from grassroots activists, these police officers go home scot-free, just in time to watch the game, after murdering one of our people for shits and giggles. And that's just the ones that make the news. For every police lynching, which gets headlines, there are 10 others no one will ever hear about. This is what's happening to us today, not back in the 1950s. Why do we still have to go to the mat for basic human rights in 2024? Wasn't this supposed to be over? The so-called Jewish people aren't fighting for their rights. Asians aren't fighting for their rights. We're the ones having political and judicial knockout, drag-out slugfests to get someone put in prison for blowing one of our people's heads off for fun, clear as day on video. Meanwhile, if you say just a word out of place about the so-called Jewish community, your entire life gets turned upside down. The Most High is trying to communicate with us. Disobedience to the law is how we got here, and obedience to the law is how we get out. White supremacy and anti-black racism are just some of the tools the Most High has used to chastise us. Children you love, you discipline. Children you despise, you neglect. I'm reaching out to these brothers out of love. I've listened to some broadcasts where some of our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters have come in and attempted to argue and debate about the subject of being an Israelite. We have to recognize the pecking order. It was John Henrik Clarke who said, "I only debate those on my level. Everyone else I teach." These are the rules of engagement, and unknown entities cannot approach well-known and accomplished persons looking to course correct them. You only get shot down, and the message will fall on deaf ears. Like Paul before Governor Felix, he didn't come in hot-headed looking to rebuke everyone. He humbly sought an audience and then pleaded his case. Even if they don't ultimately agree, they at least heard you out. Everyone deserves an opportunity to come to the truth. I'm not asking these brothers to shut down their channels, as what they're doing in informing our people of the injustices done against us is not sinful or wrong. I'm not even necessarily telling them to change their channel format. What's being asked is they live a lifestyle of obedience to Torah law and to inform the people of the true reason we suffer. White supremacy is a symptom, not the problem. Anti-black racism is a symptom, not the problem. We were told by the Most High this is what would happen to us if we were disobedient to his law. Our people don't have a problem with obeying laws, as we follow the laws of our enemies every day. We even celebrate their holidays. The solution to all of our problems has been hidden in plain sight in the evil Christian church we grew up in. With what we have been through and what we are going through now, the Most High has taken his law very seriously. It's high time all of our people do the same.